kick this straight off. Now, of course, you know, I cannot tell you what to do. Everything you do is your own decision. Don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. Any advice is general in nature. That could be a scenario for Bitcoin dominance, but as you all know, if you've been around, we need Bitcoin dominance in a downtrend to see sustained strength in altcoins. ETH Bitcoin, haven't looked at that since last live. I mean, look at that. I drew that box out. This is basically, the arrows are still even in there. So we bounced from where I said, we've rejected from where I said, we've come down to this box where I said, I think it looks like, to me, we're carving out a bottom here. This looks like we're carving out a bottom. And if we can carve out, like, this is, it's for two reasons. Right, this wick all the way down here, very bullish psychology behind that wick. When you see this sort of candles that are literally down 20-30% in one day, and they wick all the way back up, showing that the buyers are clearly in control, because your sellers have tried to push the price all the way down here. Buyers said, not today, Junior, pushed it all the way back up. 20% in one day to reclaim that level is pretty extraordinary. And now it looks like we're going into this sort of accumulation where we're just moving sideways. We're not really doing anything. And this could mark the bottom. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to predict it. I'm not going to, make massive claims. But to me, this looks like a bottom candle. This looks like we're going into an accumulation if we can stay here for an extended period. And then we can bounce from here. Now, if that correlates with Bitcoin dominance in the downtrend, as well as the US dollar in a downtrend, these are just all the bits of the, pieces of the puzzle that we want to put together to see some strength. So not like your favorite crypto influencer that's just going to tell you everything's going to the moon. There's logic behind the market cycles and when things happen. And that's what I'm trying to teach all of you in here. Some of you are new, some of you aren't. I'm trying to teach all of you simultaneously. So if this is not making sense, don't hesitate to ask. When we look at TOTAL3 quickly, so this is all your altcoins and what a lot of you want to know about. Still respecting the macro trend here. And we've got that prior resistance, which we have flipped into support. And again, nice bullish candle. So once this breaks out, we're going to price discovery. This is all your altcoins breaking the prior resistance. That's when you're going to see some pumps. That's what I'll be looking for on TOTAL3. TOTAL2 is literally exactly the same. So if we look at TOTAL2, it's basically the same story, right? This should be up here. We bounced from that trendline support. We bounced from this horizontal support that was a prior resistance. If we're going to have a sustained downtrend and a bit of a bear market, then you're going to see weakness from this trendline support breaking and also this horizontal support. Currently, we're holding it. So could again go either way, and that's going to depend on what happens with the big markets like the S&P 500, the US dollar, Bitcoin, the King Daddy. This is just putting the pieces of the puzzle together for you. So again, once we break this prior high, when we're going to see the strength in the altcoins, right? We don't break that high, we don't see strength. Simple scales, complex fails. Ethereum, again, this is the wick we see at the end of a downtrend, but in the accumulation, we need to break above this trendline resistance and above this prior support, which will now be resistance, to see sustained strength. That could easily happen, just like we're carving out the bottom on Ethereum Bitcoin. We could carve out a bottom here on Ethereum USD and then bounce from here. Very possible. Just need the US dollar to continue its downtrend to support risk on assets, and that is not unlikely. BNB trade, still this is 0% risk. You can see I've moved my stop loss, so there's no risk of losing any money here on this trade. Still up about, 30% or something like that, about 30% on that trade, and that's with no leverage. That's the spot position. So this is a risk-free one. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin dumps and, the major stock markets like the S&P dump. I get stopped out here, take some profit out of the table, still a win on the board. No issues there. So nothing too exciting. Does that make sense for everyone that wanted that crypto update to where we're at? Nothing really exciting to go over. It's pretty straightforward, especially if you've been on the last couple of lives.